What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Hungar Show. With me, as always, is Justin. What up, brother?
Some mic issues.
You always have a mic issue. Every time we play Conan Exiles, it's like speaking to your mic, bro.
My mic is right here. Woo!
Yeah. Where's your brain?
Oh,
Damn,
somewhere else.
my hair is just like not cooperating today. As you can see, I am not at my house. Neither one of them. I'm still at DM James's house. What up, Mage? Uh, Came over, spent the weekend over at his house, played Warhammer Fantasy role playing last night. A lot of fun.
Yeah. Did you kill anything?
Yeah, we got in a fight with some cultists. We ended up killing two of them and capturing one of them. And then after the witch hunter tortured the cultists, they ended up killing him
Yeah.
because he was a demon worshipping cultist.
Demon worshipping
That happened.
cultists.
What up, Shadow?
You never trust
Morning,
those
guys.
demon worshipping cultists. There's one right there. Oh. Oh.
It's all our
Got
fault
John.
for Mages being late for his videos. You know what happens, bro.
Hey, sorry about Saturday, Sean. You just showed up at the very freaking end.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
It's my fault. I killed the buzz in the show.
I jumped on 28 millimeter show yesterday just for fun.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a good show. It was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
Hey.
What up?
How's your dragon doing? I just
Hey,
want
Mr.
to tell
Max,
you.
long time no see.
I just want to tell you, Mr. Max, my name is pronounced Batman.
Man, if you would be Robin in any scenario.
Fuck you.
Not like the cool Tim Grayson Robin. You'd be like,
I'm the George Clooney Batman.
oh, geez, yeah, that's true.
I got
Like
nipples.
that's the George Clooney Batman, the one with the nipple.
Yeah.
So I like how you're talking about dragons, man, and making them interesting.
Well, yeah,
Dragons, the way I like my dragons, the way my brother does his dragons is when they're young.
Medium rare. I like a medium rare.
When they're young, they're stupid.
Yeah, I remember Jim's talking about that, like
Yeah.
stupid, bestial, voracious.
Yeah, and the more they eat and the more they grow, the smarter they get. And I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, it's like in the last Dragonlance novel of the first three, when they're in the temple and there's the baby dragons swimming around just like gnawing on people's boots because they're little, they're stupid, they have the intelligence of a nothing animal. And I like that idea that dragons don't get super smart or get, casting spells and stuff like that and actually being able to speak other languages until they get older is a very, very good concept.
Mm-hmm.
I did a really good 2-part series last year on dragon slaying with the help of the guys from, I believe it was Gatekeepers, and there may be some ideas you like there. Jade, he's got his dragons are like Godzilla plus on steroids, which is a little much for me. I want them defeatable, but I want you to have to work at it, and I'll have to go check out. What episode was it for you, Mr. Max?
Oh, I just streamed
Is this
right there
now?
before this stream.
Oh wow, I just woke up. So
No, it's all right.
Yes.
So, yeah, I know it's early for you, like on the other side of the continent there.
I want dragons to be as common as
9:30.
the house hippo.
I want dragons to be rare. I want them to be where lower level characters are able to take out a younger dragon. I mean, it's still going to be as big as a full size car. I want a lower level character to be able to take out a dragon because I want it to when it's younger, because I want them to have a false sense of security that once they get higher level and they run up on a dragon, they're like, oh, we killed one of these when we were 5th level, and we're like 9th level now. We're going to just smoke this dragon. and it ends up being an older dragon that can cast spells, and
Mhm.
there could possibly, if people mess up, be a couple characters killed. Consequences. I want them to be. I like it when my player characters get a little overconfident in their abilities, so I can knock them down a little bit, make them think, "Hey, yes, I am a tough guy. I am a hero of the realm." But there's monsters out there that I still have to worry about. I can't just walk around anywhere I want to, waving my junk around, because then it's when it to me, and this is just my opinion. I'm not an expert DM. I think I actually suck at it. But
Well, you suck at something.
if you let your player characters get too confident and they think that there's just nothing that they can't do, why are they even bothering doing anything?
Well, you should never let your players get to that point in the first place. Like, I'm personally of the opinion
Hey,
if
Brian.
you're getting to the point where you think you can start defeating most anything,
Yeah, people.
it's time to wrap up the game.
I
When
agree with that.
characters get higher level, they get that mindset that
That's something I often talk about. Like, there's a point where, like, you can save the world once, like, and then you have to, maybe then you can move to some one planar adventure, and then there's no coming back from there. Like, when you went too far, now your character is changed. Your character is like cannot relate to normal world anymore. So it's time to wrap up. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like,
why I like
Frodo went into the west with the elves, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That-
Well,
that's
that's
why
that's
I
that's the
like
thing.
that's why I like to keep the characters.
And I like to think
Fire
going
Thunder.
into the west, in the case of Lord of the Rings, is mass suicide.
But yeah, but you see, like,
No.
Bilbo, after that he destroyed the ring,
They drank the Kool-Aid
he
shadow.
cannot go back to the Shire because he has been changed by the adventure. He has seen so much. He has been through so much,
Yeah.
and also the weight of the ring, stuff like that. So he goes to the west. He retires. Say, you know what? I cannot go back to the normal world. Normal world. I've been, like, in a way, scarred. I like that for adventure as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and I will have like the
Even
one
the
time that we played 5e, and I don't care what anybody says. I had a lot of fun with my 5e characters.
even the Star Wars knockoff of Frodo, Aragon, went to the nuclear waste island. Okay.
But after our characters in 5e, my
Oh.
character in 5e, I was playing an assassin who was actually low down on the inheritance for. He was a prince, but he was low down on the succession, and his part of his training to help out the kingdom, help out his family, was actually as a spy and an assassin. That's what his thing was. And once we got to like about 8th level, I'm like, yo, I'm powerful. I could go back. I could help out my kingdom a lot more. This dude is retired, and we retired the entire party.
Yeah.
And we started playing, but we played those characters for a while. But after we got so powerful, it ended up being like it's time to retire these characters.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing a role playing game, and this is like I said, this is just me as a player and a DM. When things get too easy and the DM is throwing out stuff, but your party is working so well together, and you got everything going together, and you know exactly what each person in the party is going to do, and there's no challenge, then it ends up being not fun. What's up, Majors? What's up, Weird?
Your character.
What's up, LDG?
Yeah. Your character needs to be eaten alive by a pack of house hippos. Just because I watched that commercial.
What commercial? Like, you're watching old TV, old VHS tape.
Throwing aside, Justin, that's true. Once a character like you got like Mike's.
They have no idea what we're talking about.
Canadian thing.
Once a character gets too high, once the party gets where everything's just easy for them, it is time to retire said characters.
See, I never allow that to happen. I can always come up with a challenge. I try to incorporate personal challenges, things that aren't always monsters and combat in between the combat-y, adventures, so that they're more inclined to go off and have those little side quests that actually have some meaning to their character's life, their friends, their family, something like that. That's very personal, hits home, and has to be solved with maybe diplomacy or trading or any sort of verbal encounter or politics or things like that before it gets too late, because then it seems like the end of Babylon 5 or the end of the Lord of the Rings, where they are they're at the end of their lives. Most players I know want to keep playing those characters, but you're right. If at ninth level they save the world, and it seems more logical for them to retire or just not even adventure, but just do things like ruling their kingdom or something like that. I want to put that off as far as possible, so that because there's a lot of games that really excel, like for example AD&D. When the players get to 9th and 10th, 11th, 12th level,
no, there's
you got a Jackie treatment.
That's when the
whoa,
characters get to do cool stuff.
Your parent is behind you.
I want to put on this on what we're
Who's there?
like. You seem to be talking about defeating challenges instead of telling a fantastic story.
Right,
See,
right.
And what I'm saying is, if it's what I want to say is, if it's a fantastic story, there's got to be challenges for the players.
Of course.
Yeah.
But some of the game systems,
Gaining stuff
there's
is
some things that
secondary
characters do.
the story and to the game and everything. But if they're not gaining stuff, then it seems like the player characters aren't going to want to be participating in these challenging, fantastical, great stories without the defeating of you have to have that where you're telling a great story, but they have to be challenges and they have to be rewards for the challenges.
This is something I talked about before on my channel. I think
you guys Max.
I cover every subject, and now I'm scrapping the bottom of the barrel now. But I think sometimes you can retire a character, not just because it become too powerful, because it become not fun to play, but also sometimes retire a character for roleplay reason, especially when because if you play with a lingering injury and stuff that happen that can have long consequence, it can also be retired because you know what, I don't have what it takes anymore. Exactly.
Yeah. I can tell you guys.
I got a leg and a half, and
we were
too short.
We're playing a 30E campaign D&D, and this campaign lasted for about 2 or 3 years, and it was a great campaign. And my character, I was playing a dwarf fighter, and he was the disposed king from the son of a king like Thorn, and his whole thing was the party was going to try to recapture his lost
kingdom,
Dwarven kingdom. And one of the characters that was playing, he was a fighter, cleric. He got his foot bit off by a troll, and I actually ended up making him articulated magical silver foot. But the thing is, after we did, it took about 3 years for the campaign for us to recapture the dwarf hold and everything, and get everything settled up. But after that time, it was time to retire that character. I'm not going to roleplay being a freaking king and dealing with everyday things, but I am going to roleplay a character who is a king who doesn't have his kingdom, and they're fighting for the king. That was a great campaign. We had a lot of fun, but it was a fantastical story. There were a lot of challenges. There were rewards, and then it was time to retire the character.
Yeah.
In the Conan novels, Conan as king was king in I think 2 or 3 of the novels. There are a lot of cool things that
he's king of Aquilonia.
Yep.
Right. There are literally a lot of things a character as a king or a lord can do before it seems like it's time to retire. I like to get
there's a lot of mundane things that the character is going to have to do.
In the Howard story, King Conan is king for only the first story that has been published, and everything else is I'm not familiar with the other story that have been published by other author, so I cannot talk
Right.
about that. But
Right.
and everything
It's
else
all like
is a back like
it's like
a
memory.
flashback. Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but in the story where he's king, the whole story is about like somebody trying to assassinate him. In his
where the
palace.
army, where
Yeah.
he gets betrayed by his allies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was the Sword in the Phoenix.
I've never gotten that far.
Yeah, something like that. I think. Yeah, the Sword in the Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about your players and the DM's ability and desire to continue. Because like you were saying, well, what about the other characters? What if the other characters have a little bit of story left to tell? Their conclusion isn't there yet. I could see retiring a character and
That
letting
was
the
part
rest
of the whole
group move on.
campaign, though.
Yeah,
That was
well,
part of the whole campaign where they were all helping him do his thing, plus he was helping them do their things. Where we are all coming to, we still did some adventures where this guy wants to finish up this, and this guy wanted to start this, and we all finish out what we really wanted to, but after you play. I'm not saying that I get bored playing characters because I don't. If the DM, if we keep the game going, the people are going to want to continue to play those characters. But after a 3-year long campaign, two to three times a week, sometimes
I get that.
There is a time to retire said characters.
I like my.
To take into account. Go ahead, man.
No, I say I like to I talk about like the tier of play and how you at first like you were like a nobody that goes adventuring because out of necessity, and then you become a local hero, and then like you feel a little more heroic because like people look out for you, like villagers and stuff like that, because they need your help, and you seem like a capable sort. So you kind of like raise the player up, and then when you succeed in that tier of play, and then you start like interacting with noble, then you realize you bit more than you can chew, and then you brought down a bit because now like you're in over your head. But then you manage to come out of here, and then that's where you become like we have this big threat.
Yeah,
kind of threat in the world, and now the noble. So now you again raised up. Now you feel heroic again.
Yeah,
and then there's something like out of this world.
It's that dip that can really make conflict more interesting and lasting in memory too.
Yeah, you have to vary the emotional intensity, and that's why like I tend to do my campaign like. That's something I probably have with Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I think the 1 to 20 level progression is too long. Because if you want to go to that, you're gonna have to do like dungeon after dungeon after and repeat the adventure, and that can become quickly samey. I like shorter campaign where there's gonna be a lot of like time skip. Where at some point you need to progress and to go to something else. You can do like a few dungeons.
That's the problem when the players only perceive that they get experience points for combat and treasure.
Yeah.
I give experience points for overcoming obstacles regardless of what or how they are. In the old days, you would get XP for avoiding certain issues. Like when the Hobbit, avoided the trolls, so to speak. Not really, but you know what I mean.
I think that's for good role playing. If somebody's role playing their character really well, they're going to get extra XP.
And also, like character advancement.
I've even gone to the point of trying to make it look like they're getting more XP for things besides combat, so that they sort of subconsciously want to pursue those other avenues of experience, because it's not just that. You know what I mean? Wizards don't just get experience points for blasting stuff with spells. Otherwise, that's all wizards would do. They get
wait. Wizards can do other stuff by blasting things with spells?
Yes, absolutely.
It's fireball all the time.
There's fireball, holy bolt, and fireball, right?
You guys
Meteor storm.
You played too much 3rd to 5th edition. 1st and 2nd was where it was at. No one's ever going to get to 20th level in AD&D 1st or 2nd. 15th, maybe if they're playing the shit out of their characters, and yeah, you're never going to run across a 15th level fighter in AD&D. It's just not going to happen. Maybe.
What I'd like,
and that's after years and years of play.
In the past, is I will put some thought into a character background when I decide to make a character, when I'm making a character, I like to put why. I like to think, why is this guy adventuring? Like I've made a character where he made a fighter. He was a farmer, and his main weapon was short sword because a guy who's a farmer, he's going to have more access to actually experience being able to get or knowing anything about a short sword more than he's going to know about a two-handed sword or a long sword, or I make a character who's proficient with the spear because I like, if this guy's a farmer, he's going to be more familiar and more proficient with a common weapon. Short sword's more
Yeah.
common than long sword. Spear is more common than a short sword. And then you got to think, well, why is this guy not a farmer anymore? Why is he out? And I tell people that are playing in the group with us. and
Hey,
it's
can you
like,
throw in the link for Jackie?
I've thrown it on a couple times, and I will throw it on again.
All right.
And I'd be like, well, this guy, he don't want to do this because he's not a carpenter no more. He's an adventurer.
Yeah.
So why are we
Yeah,
doing this?
I
And
think I think that's the motivation of the player. Like what like asking the question, what made you. I think I thought about that on Friday actually. I think that was the topic of my stream on Friday.
I'm just robbing everything for Max today.
Well, like I like maybe streaming 3 times a week is a bit much. So
Well,
I'm going to the subject pretty fast.
if he didn't want to get his house robbed,
That's
he
gonna
locked
happen,
my
Mr.
door.
Mac. You're gonna find that you're gonna be at a certain point when you start streaming. You're gonna do it a lot, and then you're gonna be like, you're gonna have this dip, but just ride it out. You'll find some new XP.
Yeah.
So,
I
some
wanted-
new
Yeah, you'll find new
inspiration.
XP, man.
I wanted to address what Mage's Musing said earlier. I don't know if he's still in. Like he said, like he liked to keep his character mid-level for long range. I don't know if for me, mid-level is when you're into the dealing with noble, into the intrigue, kind of like a lot of like political machination. I find this one is one you can stretch much more because that's the dungeon phase, like going down, like killing some monster, getting the loot out. I think that can feel samey much more. When you deal with people, I like the role play aspect. So when you deal with people, when there's intrigue, when there's like backstabbing and core stuff, this I find like is probably the phase you can stretch out the more because like it feels different. At some point, like, you go in this dungeon and there's a bunch of skeletons you
know
kill.
what?
And then
You spurred an idea. See, like with dungeons, I only have them encounter an actual dungeon, like an underground dungeon, like once every about 5 levels, maybe a little bit more. But I use a lot of other things instead of actual dungeons.
when I say dungeon, I mean like
characters.
a contained place for adventure. You know what I mean? Like it can be outside. It can be like it's
Could be
not
an
like an actual
abandoned
dungeon.
keep or something like that.
Yeah, like ongoing
Cavern
quest
system,
away from society.
Exactly.
the Dark Forest,
Yeah.
but see, I do a lot of things like ocean adventures, where they need to get on a boat and go somewhere to find like literally the next dungeon, so that they're busy doing a lot of different kinds of travel. I really get them to globetrot in my games. One time they may need to go to the jungles. One time they may need to go to an island. Maybe they have to go to the deserts. I really like having them have to go into a desert, to
Explore
find
the
that
world.
pyramid or that temple. It brings the Robert E. Howard and the H.P. Lovecraft theme into it. Brothels.
Brothels, yeah.
I have to agree
Brothels
with. I like what Mage is saying here. It's not a race for the upper levels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Your
Like
your character always needs to use his meat digger.
yeah, like I said, I like I like shorter campaign. Like, but it's not. It's not that I want to keep them short. Like the upper level adventure are not my favorite. It's not the style of play I prefer. Like
My
I
favorite-
will go through it if the players are in for it and we want like make a nice wrap and go with something epic at the end. You play the character for a long time, you want to go like all out, then I am gonna give you like 2 or 3 adventure like that or like something else. Like you're gonna save the world and then you're gonna save fucking reality itself. You know what I mean?
That's why I love.
Yeah, I never do the same reality bullshit. We're already breaking reality by playing the damn game. That's just
Yeah.
to me that just seems like No.
No, I mean
I'm
like
just saying.
those planner
It's never
adventure.
in
You know,
any
when
danger. Reality is never in any danger.
I mean,
That's just-
the reality of the world of the game. I don't mean like reality. I mean like those
yeah.
planner adventure, those like when you deal with gods and stuff like that. You know, like
Yeah.
at some point you save the world. Oh, there's a necromancer that's raising an army of undead. That's a threat to the
See,
world. But it's
I
still like
never
a
have those
person.
issues
It's still a
either.
human.
because I pump up the monsters beyond the books early on. You know,
Yeah.
I when they're fighting, an orc, leader, he's gonna be just as badass as the paladin.
No.
I'm gonna
All orcs do
And-
come with fireball, right?
I like
Yeah, when they die, they
the
blow up.
Borderland.
Yeah.
Or like Temple of Elemental Evil campaigns where a first level character can start it and they're gonna be running around and there's chance that they're gonna make that wrong turn. I mean, you make that wrong turn in Temple of Elemental Evil at a third level party walking into the temple for the first time. They make that wrong turn into that fire elemental room and they're screwed. I like campaigns where there's consequences for the players.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
my whole point. I want my players when they're playing, I want them to be nervous so they could die at any time. I mean, what's his name got killed in Moria by a goblin with an arrow.
Yeah. There should be.
And he was one of the 13 who fought Smug. What up, Jack?
Hello?
Jack.
Okay, no.
We're just talking. I don't know. I didn't start to stream with a topic in mind. I got this after watching Max's stream right before. That's what I'm going to start doing. Just every day I do a stream, I'm going to watch Max's stream first and just steal from him.
Sounds like a good show policy from here on out.
Yeah.
Max,
Everything,
we're gonna need you to always do a show. We
Yeah.
can't get the
And
time.
like Mike is saying, tuck a year with one wipe and 4 individual deaths to complete the Temple of Elemental Evil. That sounds like a fun game to run
Yeah.
for me, or a fun game to actually play in.
But it depends. Also, like everybody, like look for something different in the game. You know, like you need to know your group. You need to know the players you're with. What they want to engage with. Some people just want, and it's all fine. Some people just want to they want to go do that. Go in the dungeon, roll some dice, kill some monster, shoot the shit. That's all
Yeah.
fine. I'm not like dogmatic about that at all.
And luckily, with the game group I'm in right now, everybody are more into. I mean, he doesn't like hack and slash, but there's a lot of role playing in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we play games without any combat, and everybody have a good time.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
intrigue, storytelling, and everything.
Yeah.
like
You said
that.
what you want. What you want is conflict.
Yeah.
Conflict can be combat, but it can be like so
Yeah.
much more, and it's
Right.
good to vary it.
Hey, Jackie, how's Bethany?
I forgot about that.
It's a her. You forgot about her.
Mess is not a her.
Are we
Unless you're
doing
doing
this
it
bit?
too much. You said
This time next
Awkward
week, he's
silence,
going to be
huh?
getting on a big old airplane.
Ooh.
What?
You're going to Mexico, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And with $5, you can afford the brothels there.
You can meet all the Methanies you want.
Guys, man.
Hey, that's a callback to earlier in the episode.
Oh, you get him to leave now.
And he's
Oh,
out.
He'll be back.
yeah.
Do you have like a monster, guys, you use sometimes in campaign, like that really means something? That when you like not just a big bag of hit point, when you take it out, like now okay, there's something
Oh.
going on here, something.
I
we're
stole
getting-
a monster from a friend of mine, and it's a monster that can turn into an item if you do it right.
Can turn
And
to
I
a what?
Really like an item,
Okay.
and I really like this concept. And I'm waiting to throw it into one of my games where I was playing in his game, and it was like Headless Horseman. And I mean, it was a pretty tough monster, like a level 5 monster. So not super tough, not massive powerful, but something you got to deal with. But if you could find the actual skull of the headless horseman of the apparition, you could actually use the apparition kind of like twice a day, but only at night. Because headless horseman, because it's apparition, don't want to be out during the day. And that threw us for a loop because this thing kept on just like showing up out of the blue everywhere we were going until one of the party members actually found, we had to do a lot of investigation. We found where the skull was. The other party member took the skull, and we actually were able to use the apparition then. And then we made a deal with the apparition that after we finished this storyline in the campaign, that would actually do the final rites for the skull so the apparition could be laid to rest. And I thought that was a really great monster, a really great concept. And I'm waiting to use that in one of my campaigns down the road in the future.
I like using Varghoulis. You guys know about those?
No.
It's like a flying head. It's this
Yeah.
real evil
You know what?
head.
The first time James threw those up against us, or the baby vampire undead monsters out in the woods, those gave me the heebie-jeebies, man.
The cool thing about Varghoulis is that they only do 1 to 4 points of damage, but it's permanent. You can never, ever, ever heal that damage. Even with a wish, it's permanent. Your players are getting a little too beefy. Their hit points are, they're somehow always rolling 10s on their hit dice. You throw just like 10 of Varghoulis at the party, and suddenly, they hear that noise and they're running for the hills. Okay, thanks.
I always pronounce them Vargoyle because in French they're called like Vargouille and it's look like gargoyle, like gargouille. So I always pronounce them like similar to gargoyle, but with a V instead of a. You know what I mean?
Once they recognize the sound of that monster, you can push them anywhere you want because they will burrow a hole out of the dungeon to get away from those things. Just one bite is all it takes to let them know
you're
you
saying
are not safe.
You're saying you need to put these up against your level 1 players.
No,
you're not gonna have players. You're not gonna have characters after that.
Yeah, you're gonna have a new form of undead.
Another monster that is great that is underused by some, overused by others, and used just enough by select.
That's cool, Mages. I never thought about that, but that would be an adventure for only the bravest to go into a nest of them and put them down once and for all, because you're going to find most players noping out of that. And then when they do that, then you get to say, well, there's so many of them now that they're all over the place. Every town is boarded up because they're afraid of these things that are just devouring the countryside. And better get your armor class up real good.
It's like Phantasm. Remember the old Phantasm movies?
How about Sturgis? Small, hard to attack, low hit point creatures, freaking giant mosquitoes that love to hang out with bullywogs in the swamp. They don't show up on infravision, neither do bullywogs. So you're running through, you end up fighting some bullywogs, and you got some Sturgis biting you, doing constitution damage to you. Your constitution drops to 0. Congratulations. You're dead. And they're like little swarm monsters. They're hot. I mean, I hate and love. I have a love hate.
Yeah, I hate those. I hate
going against them, but I love using them.
I deal with
especially when you kill them. You kill them and your blood goes splattering. They're so freaking creepy. And, they're really an old trope from way back when. They were pretty damn common. You're more likely to find those things than actual bats in some situations. They're just nasty creatures.
Yeah.
Just the whole concept of
what's your monster, Max?
Oh, I was talking about dragon because of that. Because that's for me. It's a monster that when you take out, it should be it's not just a monster. It's just it's something that you.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, but otherwise, just like his regular monster, like I'm the guy that use like mostly human. So when every time there's a monster, it's something kind of special.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I like undead quite a bit. I wanted to
Undead
say
is
something about like what
favorite.
Mage's Musing said about the 5e Varguil or Vargui, like the old geeks say earlier. He said that if he infects you, your head detach and become one, killing you in the process, obviously.
No, you
But
survive.
that could be interesting that because like imagine if you can see those Vargui and they're flying ahead of people you knew. That you can
Yeah.
recognize. Now
You wake
that's
up
gonna hit different.
and you turn and there's a member of your party, and then you look down and there's no body.
An old friend you went to an adventure with, and now you just see his fucking head, but you kind of have to
Yeah.
kill it, otherwise you're gonna become one as well.
It's like the baby vampires that James
Oh
threw
yeah,
against us. They were created where when a woman has a baby out of wedlock or whatever, and then she don't want the baby, so she'd take it into the woods and just abandon it. And that baby, of course, would die, but then get possessed by an evil entity. And it'd be like a little baby running around, crying in the woods, trying to get you to come out there to save it. And then, surprise, I'm a big badass, and I'm going to eat your face. And he threw those against us, and it scared the shit out of us. I mean, I was like, dude, that's shit. That's rough. That's rough.
You know my policy.
Umbilical cord still attached to it, trying to eat your face. That is the stuff of nightmares.
Well, you know my policy. Put a taser collar on it; it'll be okay.
True.
That is true, but we didn't have taser collars over there.
Yeah,
Another
there's
great
magic
monster
collar.
is the old school gargoyles.
Love those. Ask Jackie about those.
And the
Yeah,
old school, I forget what they were named, but they were stalactites, but they weren't
Piercer.
piercers.
Piercer.
Yeah.
yeah.
You walk
Piercer.
into a freaking cave and this thing's like,
Yeah, that turns the dungeon itself into a monster. I love crap
Yeah.
like that. Where they're
Piercers,
constantly having to-
cloakers.
they have to look up constantly, or have one party member, the elf or something, constantly, making sure that they're not going to get, ambushed by a bunch of those. Oh, they're so much fun. Throwing some ropers, and you're in for a great time because they're getting attacked from all angles. And if the roper grabs them and holds onto them, doesn't mean the piercer ain't going to try and get a bit off that snack as well.
You got the cloaker as well. That when they envelop somebody and you try to attack, you're gonna hit under it.
The player, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're basically just tenderizing the player, while the cloaker is having lunch. Kind of like those things from Beastmaster, the winged things. Oh, I love those things. Oh, those are so absolutely just creepy as hell.
The
Those bird
movies.
creatures.
a flesh golem made out of a kid.
Ooh.
Dude, I was gonna have breakfast.
Like
That
3-4
could be
kids.
interesting. Also, like I like those monster because they have like interesting roleplay element. Like who made that? Who made that monster and why? That's an
Right.
interesting investigation as well.
Especially if they find him at different locations, because the bad guy's moving around, or he's got multiple, bad guy layers where he's doing his evil stuff. Yeah,
It's a
Beastmaster's
Frankenstein monster. So one kid's just got an arm coming out of his head.
I read somewhere where a guy or one of his traps, and I thought this was had a hallway, and at the end of the hallway there's a mirror, right? And the mirror just doesn't lead to nothing, but people are going to check it out, inspect it, search all over. And while they're looking at the mirror and they're seeing their reflections, out of nowhere, a gelatinous cube, almost the entire size of the hallway that they were in, that is clear, comes out. And while they're sitting there messing around with the mirror, trying to figure out what secret the mirror has, which is none, this gelatinous cube is just coming right up behind them, and they, it's there, but they can't even see it. Next thing you know, I thought that was an interesting trap. And another monster that you don't see a whole lot anymore, which is really great for like 1 to 50 levels, rust monsters.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah, that's
you wanna
another way to
focus
strike
on the
fear
area.
into the party. You know, that cartoon of the paladin hiding, by hanging on to the magic user is no joke. Uh, all your cool gear is about to become null and void, or
Moles.
food for
That's
that
why
rust
you need to
monster.
be an elf, because all your armor's made out of wood.
Sure, you can go that route.
Yellow modes can be rough too because you're walking, modes. You're walking through a dungeon. That's you trip the
Oh,
mode. Next thing you know, ow, yeah. There's so many lower level monsters that a lot of people don't use in their games.
Hey, here's a
that
question for you
can
guys.
actually be brutal.
If you've got a player, right, like our buddy Connell, who just freaking hates snakes, or someone who hates spiders, or someone who hates crocodiles,
You,
gonna
th- you
them
throw
at 'em, or are you
spiders,
gonna be
snakes, or
like,
crocodiles at them. First
Yeah.
thing, one of them.
you need spider, crocodile, snake hybrids. Just
I
around
ran a
every
game.
corner.
I ran a game, and this is right up on that question. I ran a game, and the first session, everybody, it was a group. I didn't really know the people well. The first session, they're like, "This girl, she has a deathly, she's so afraid of snakes, blah blah blah." And the thing is, I can't play in your game if you're gonna have, I'm snakes. That's my trigger, and I'm blah blah blah. So I started a campaign, and I mentioned this on somebody else's game in or stream in the comment. I was like, it was uh, um, Holy Diver. I was like, the first game we played, the first session we played after character, after session 0, they're running through tropical forest jungle area, and the first monster they ran up on were giant snakes.
Mm.
Because she was saying that she wasn't going to. And when players,
She might as well,
afraid of a
throw in a red card at you.
a certain animal and stuff, but you're not going to define the way I run a game because of your silly paranoia.
Brian from Weird World.
And she left. She quit playing after that one session. Everybody else had a fantastic time. And people actually came up to me after she left the game and were like, "Thank you for that," because we were tired of her bullshit.
Weird World. He said, "I hate tax collectors."
Yeah, I hate tax collectors, but I've dealt with them.
But you throw them after your party, it's gonna change the game quite a bit. Have them take some loot from the dungeon and then send them some tax collector after them. You're like, people talk about running evil campaign. Now you're gonna run a campaign.
You treat the tax collector like what's his name did in
Vecna?
What?
Like Vecna?
No.
I don't know if I told you guys about this idea for a monster, and I think it's really great. It's not gonna. It's a major inconvenience for a party. They piss off a doppelganger, so that doppelganger finds out what their next move is, doppelgangs itself into like one of the party, goes into that town and just breaks a bunch of laws. Just makes a menace. Say the cleric. They make themselves look like the cleric, and then go in there and they freaking kill somebody in the middle of the street. And then 2 days later, here comes the party walking into the town, not suspecting anything, and bam, one of them's wanted for murder. And this doppelganger is just doing this, like following this party around and doing illegal stuff just to get the whole town after the party. So the party's got to spend part of their time in each town or whatever, every few towns they go to, trying to clear their names from like murder and crime.
Yeah. That's how you turn.
What were you gonna say, Jackie?
Just taxes are cringe.
Yeah.
That's all I was going to say.
Bro,
Yeah, taxes are cringe.
I was thinking Leonidas in the name is still escaping me of the movie. Sparta.
Gladiator?
Sparta or
300.
300. That's the one. Thinking of a word. It's a number. He just kicks the ambassador in the pit. That's what you gotta do with the tax collector.
How do you deal with that magic pile?
That would work weird in like bigger towns, But if the party's going through like smaller towns and stuff where, not a big population where it's not the head of the kingdom, the chances of having somebody who could cast such spells in the smaller towns are not going to be a very high probability.
Yeah.
And just because somebody casts a spell and says, "Oh, it wasn't him," there's a whole lot of the townsfolk that are just not going to buy that. They're going to be like, "Yeah, you guys are all working together."
It sounds like to me that you're trying to take a party of people who don't want to be murder hobos and turn them into the most honorable of all character types. Murder
Yes.
But that's part of the reason why I like setting that are fairly low magic, and when magic is seen with suspicion, maybe like wizard, like they're not gonna hire a wizard because you're gonna trust a wizard. You can never trust a wizard, like
Yeah.
But I have like a pretty anti-wizard bias. So
the guy stole my colored. The guy stole my shirt and made a hat out of it.
Yeah, you're traveling through a small town and trying to get to the main town in the kingdom, and there's somebody who looks and acts exactly like you, who just murdered one of the main town guards, and you come strolling in, and everybody's like, "There they are."
I know. Put a twist there. Put a twist there. I have like wizard, like officially employed wizard that are charlatan. They don't know fucking magic. They just pretend to.
Yeah,
just I'm gonna cast Zone of Truth, and then just like make up shit.
Nice little black powder.
Expose the wizard charlatan. Yeah, could be.
I don't play mages. I don't play in high magic campaigns, and I don't run high magic.
Yeah, that's the guy who stole my shirt and made a hat out of it.
Yeah, to me, when I hear I don't play high magic, I hear I literally don't play magic.
Oh, we play magic. There's mages, but we can run quite a few games where there's no mage in the party, or there's a cleric in the party, but we don't have a mage. I mean,
if that's the desire of the consensus or the main group of the party, but I can't justify screwing over that one player that actually wants to play a druid.
If somebody wants to play, nobody plays druids in my.
Yeah, but why would you want to play a druid?
In the words of my good buddy, cringe.
Because the abilities that a druid gets are freaking cool. Being able to turn into an animal, casting the spells, the whole bit. There's a lot of fun stuff.
So you want to be a furry?
Druids are evil in my campaigns.
Yeah, we've discovered your secret.
Druids
Just because the druid was right that one time doesn't mean they always will be. It doesn't mean you should be one of them.
Nice. No, just they're a fun aspect of. You gotta understand, coming from my
Shadwo.
Who's Shadwo? It's just Woe.
Whoa. With the cat ear headband.
Back in the
down.
day,
with the
back in the day, a good adventuring party needed all four of the basic food groups: the fighter, the cleric, the magic user, the thief. The game was designed around the.
Why would you want to eat a magic user?
If somebody wants to play a magic user in my campaign, or any campaign that I've ever played, people are allowed to play what they want.
This is a family show. I'm not going to answer that question.
Not everybody wants to play mages. Not everybody wants to play druids.
That's why I said, if the general consensus is nobody wants, they all want to run fighters, thieves, and rangers, that's freaking cool. Okay, a lot of great stories were like that, but in a world in a game where it's more likely that they're not going to want to run a fighter or a thief or a ranger, then you kind of got to work with it. Now, like I said, it's all about the social contract. If your players, are itching for, a Harry Potter or high magic kind of game, then, you kind of got to adapt or find new players.
I think it's all right as like magic users, and it's like elves, It's good that they're in the game for when you have chicks that want to play the game, that want to join the party.
Oh, okay, I see how you are. Only chicks want to play elves. Who doesn't want to play elves and immortal?
Well, people are welcome to play any class.
Feminine in quotation marks.
I'm running, except for druids, because one, druids are evil. Two, druids don't want to leave the game. Zero.
I don't want to be immortal. I want to die a hero.
Yeah.
Being immortal is gay.
If the gods feel fit to bring me back to life, so I can be a hero again.
Die. Like if I die doing good, and I have a good chance getting to heaven, don't fucking bring me back to life.
Oh no!
Honestly, yeah, anybody who wants to be immortal is cringe.
Yeah.
My primary AD&D group doesn't have a mage. Exactly. A lot of groups that I've played in, nobody wants to play a mage. If somebody wants to play a mage, more power to you. You play that
Find
glass
another
cannon.
table.
I would
Right,
rather
but
play
who'd
a
want to play a
dwarf.
mage? Who'd want to play a mage if they know right off the bat they're going to be at the biggest disadvantage? In the old days, the magic user only had 1 to 4 hit points per level, and you had to protect them because once they got up to like 7th, 9th level, they're blasting out fireballs and saving the party's ass left and right. But if you put all these restrictions or anti-biases, no one's going to want to.
I tell you this. I don't want to play a mage because yes, fireball is cool, but when you realize that's the only thing you're ever going to be able to do,
well, it's not.
because
That's
it's
not
the only mages can't even walk on their own. You have to carry them and then put them in the corner so they go fireball.
There's a point where the
die.
mage is better at opening door than the thief is better at like infiltrating. Like everything a thief can do, the mage is better.
Getting to that level, I would rather play a dwarf cleric. Play a dwarf cleric with a shit ton of hit points.
Yeah.
And you end up getting badass spells anyway. But plus, you got a big ass hammer that you can crack people in the head, and you're
sure. But some people aren't into the whole religious bent. I never play clerics. I absolutely hate it.
I love them.
I love clerics.
There's so many. There are literally thousands of spells to choose from. The magic missiles are cool.
At low and high level
is a good spell. But how many wizards are going to memorize that spell like 4 or 5 times a day? No, maybe once. That's to get out of a jam, just like invisibility. That's to get out of a jam, or teleport, or fly, or polymorph self, or identify. In the old days, you're not going to find out what that magic item is without a wizard.
Well, we're not really worried about what you identify as.
The identify spell for determining what your magic items are. Because in most games, it's going to cost almost as much to identify the magic item as the item's worth, because you don't know what it is yet. Having somebody who can do that in the party at the end of the night, you're all getting ready to, rest. He'll do his identify spell on the items that you found, and lo and behold, now you know what they are, and you're not afraid to drink the potions.
I like what
you shouldn't do drugs, okay?
As a DM, you got to keep clerics on the straight and narrow and make them follow their dogma.
Yeah, that's absolutely
absolutely. And sometimes it turns out that the players know more about that particular religion than the DM, because he's, you picked something out of the hat, for your priest, and now he's like, I'm not going to do the research right now, and the players are starting to dictate to the DM. Well, my God lets me do this and this and that, and and instead of taking out the book and reading it in the middle of the game, they're probably going to either, just kibosh it right off the bat, or, let you slide. And either way is kind of, it's just not a good idea.
That's why I play Dwarven clerics, because you pick Kalangadin or Moradin, and
I'm kind of bored to death with dwarves. Dwarves at some point became like almost the most popular race to run, and everything else gets shoved off to the side.
I've been playing dwarves since my very first student character was a dwarf fighter.
The only acceptable campaigns, the only acceptable party structures are either nothing but humans, or nothing but dwarfs, or some combination of the two.
Maybe no more happy.
You know what? I'm going to start making planets without dwarves. Thanks to you guys. There are going to be no dwarves on my planets. They all died off like in.
I don't play a setting, and I like to. I don't play with cheater or like power gamer. Really, like the people I play, like people who have kind of like the same kind of mindset. We want like an interesting story, like an interesting narrative that emerge. And so I let them, like, you want to play a priest or a cleric or whatever, you're good. You know what they're after, and I play with people that I can trust, what I mean? That I can give them the rein and say, you know what? Because I'm going to create a world. It's going to be like very vague. There's going to be a central conflict that is bigger than the player. And then I'm going to put the party in bigger than the character, I should say. And then I'm going to put the character in there, and we'll see where it goes. And I let them the rein a lot. And they can add something. You want to maybe I'm discovering the world as much as they do. I don't come with a pre-planned world. I don't come with a pre-planned conception of what's going to happen, or like I let them. So I let them, give them a lot of freedom, but I play with people I can trust in there. And sometimes, I have to rein them in a bit, but rarely happen nowadays.
And if they turn out to be people that you really can't trust, you can say you're feeling a weird premonition, and as you start to realize something weird is going on, the ground rips out from under you, and you are devoured whole. Please leave now.
Maybe then like, there's other people like sharing your faith, but now they see you as an heretic because you put all this weird stuff in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's good, Brian.
That's right, Weird. I agree with you guys on that. Clerics, they have to stay on the straight and narrow. They can't be just like fighters that can cast spells. They have to be out there for a reason.
Yeah,
and not only cleric. Characters that are not cleric or paladin should also be religious.
Yes,
that would just make sense in most world. Like they should. People oftentimes like they have like no spiritual element at all to their character.
When I'm playing D&D,
and people never the case, right?
Yeah, when I play D&D and somebody in the party is like, I don't have a god that I worship, and I'm sitting here and I ask them, I was like, how? There's literal freaking proof that they exist. They have shown up on
right.
They've shown up.
And that's the key right there. You said is the proof.
Proof that they exist. So you saying that you know that gods exist and you don't believe in them.
You're either mentally R-word or
I've had points where I played clerics.
It's either a sign of laziness or contrariness.
I've played clerics where I wouldn't heal certain players because their beliefs were complete opposite of what my clerics beliefs.
But you often see that like with like
now
atheist player that want to bring their atheism in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kick them out.
Yeah.
You model your life.
You never invite them to the game. I mean,
don't invite atheists to anything.
Well, they get found out in town and then immediately placed under some rope because the only way you believe the gods don't exist in a world where they're proven is if you're trying to destroy reality.
If you invite an atheist to your game session and somebody tries to play a mage, like, actually, what is the scientific evidence that is something that you can possibly do?
Yeah, that's what you tell them. Like, man, Reddit is over there, my baby. Yeah.
That is true. Mages, they are totally conceivable that a person despises what the gods represent. Yeah. Now, when I play a cleric, like I've said, I've mentioned this weird, that when I play a cleric, it's normally a dwarven cleric. So I don't do a lot of evangelizing or whatever out on the road because dwarves are going to worship the dwarven clerics, and we don't want humans to know shit about our clerics.
Yeah, but I want to say like to just precise to the old geek. Like I mean, like usually like it's younger atheists like that are like kind of sometimes new into that. Like when you're into the militant stage, and I guess it can go both ways as well. Like recent convert often have those militant stage as well.
Yeah,
it's like with the fervor of the convert we call.
Yeah, I get it, geek. But here in the States, it's way different. If someone is telling us, if someone is telling us they're an atheist,
then you don't want anything.
Yeah.
If you're able to hear an atheist tell you that they're an atheist, you're too close to them.
All right, guys, it's hit our hour
by a continent.
So.
Oh.
I'm going to end the stream. I think we had a really good show today. Thank
you
all
great way to wake up.
We actually talked about D&D stuff, which is odd.
Wow.
Yeah.
Usually it's just drugs.
Hey, and we didn't even talk about food once.
Wait, what? We need to have another hour of the show then.
Yeah, I need another hour just so we can talk about drugs and food.
I need to go eat now, so.
Yeah.
Thanks
everybody for coming on. Justin, Max, thank you. Woodcrafter Gaming, Jackie, always, whoa, such a pleasure to see you, bro. Whoa.
Make sure you fix that before you hit the button.
No. He doesn't know how to, so don't.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to fix it himself. And I won't tell him.
There you go. Does that work for you?
Oh, that does
Yeah.
not work. That does
So
not
that's
work for
pretty
me at
worse.
all.
Yeah.
Right?
Shatwell.
Yeah. Whoa.
All right.
The Adventures of Bar Hopping.
All right. Have a good night. Have a good night. Good afternoon, everybody.
Everybody,
everybody.
have a
Good
great
night.
night.
I'm going to
I'm in bed
bed.
already. It's so damn hot in here.
It's always fun. Peace, love, and chicken grease.
Take care, guys.
Party
Adios.
on, guys. Party on.
Bye.
Jack